Good evening, everyone. I'm Hunter Brittle, alongside my good friend Elliot Henderson, ready to bring you all the action of the fourth race of the Chase for the Great Lakes Truck Series Championship live on Split Second Broadcasting. Elliot, what makes this track so beloved in this league?
I think it's the opportunities. I think you and I know more about that than anybody because we're the only two guys that have won here. But it's the fact that you can run the bottom, run the top, run the middle. You can run wherever you want. And these guys are going to have a lot of lanes to choose from, and none of them really wear your tires more than the other ones. So if you want to go right up to the top and wrap the wall all the way around a few laps into the run and run it for the whole run, you can. It just depends on how well you can get off that corner and how much momentum you can keep up. But I think you're going to see a lot of these guys run the bottom. I know when we came here with the Cup cars and everything, RJ Williams was very particular about running the bottom, and it worked in most cases. But the truck seems to favor running up by the wall because it wants to keep that momentum up. So we'll have to see what these guys choose tonight. But there's a lot of options, and you'll see a lot of 3 and 4 wide racing.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of 3 and 4 wide racing. It's when these trucks go 3 wide tonight, we're going to have to do our best to not sound so surprised, because it's going to happen so much on these wide corners, wide straightaways too. The whole track is about 5, 6, 7 cars wide. You can get a whole shot of action there at really just about any point in the track. Elliot, who are our favorites going in tonight? We've got a couple names out there. Jared Darling, one who usually makes some noise up there at the front. Shane Neiswanger as well, starting on pole. Look for him to go forward. Who else do we have on our radar tonight?
And I'll tell you what, if we don't point out Ashton Lawson one more time this season, it just feels like every single week he starts up front, runs up front, and either gets wrecked or just something goes wrong and he doesn't end up there. So looking for him to have a little bit of a bounce back. But, you got to look at those guys on that second row. Zach Henry, Nathan Jump coming in here, your 2 points leaders, 18 points separating them. Sims coming in 19 points behind. Not a great starting spot for him, lining up 7th, but you can go from 8th to 1st here in a half a lap or in a full lap. So we'll have to see what they do, but I got to imagine that your winner is going to come from that second row.
I would say it's a bold pick, but not so much. But based on recent performance, the 2511 boys taking up row number 2, looking to put in another dominating performance here, just like they did last week at Dover here, trying to duplicate that out here in the West in Auto Club. We mentioned Shane Neiswanger starting on pole here. Let's get him up in here and talk to him and see how he plans to tackle this big wide track out here in the desert. Shane Neiswanger, it's Brittle and the boys up in the booth. You.
Well, I can't give away all my information because I know some guys listen to it, but I think we might have the right combination of strategy and speed today to go get it done. I need a race to finally break my way, and I got the best shot at it today, starting on the pole.
Yeah, definitely. Can't give away all the trade secrets. I don't blame you right there. Elliot and I were mentioning in the open here, the only 2 people who have won at this track in GLTS are sitting in the booth here. So you've got a great opportunity to go get one, to go etch your name into that list here tonight.
Yeah, we'll try now that you 2 aren't on the track anymore. I think I have a good chance. Won a couple races in Michigan, so I like these types of tracks. So I think I got a good shot.
Definitely a track that suits your style for sure. Good luck, man. We'll be watching all night long. That was Shane Neiswanger, starting from the pole position here tonight, looking for an awesome performance here in the 4th race of the Chase for the Great Lakes Truck Series. We've got the one to go signal this time, so let's take you through the starting lineup here. Like we said, Shane Neiswanger, just talked to him on pole, with Ashton Lawson starting to his outside in second.
First and second in points coming in here, Zach Henry to the inside, and his challenger, the guy he's trying to chase down, Nathan Jump, to his out.
going to go forward tonight.
How about Mike McConville right there in the 11th spot? Talk about him on a weekly basis. But Rod Fosnell with a really solid 12th place starting spot tonight could do a lot with that here at Auto Club.
In the 13th position, we find a GLTS rookie, Blair Kneebone from Canada, making his first start in the Great Lakes Truck Series. Happy to have him here tonight, and we'll see what he's got.
And you can see the rest of your starting lineup roll off. Eric Ketf will be starting 15th as Pace Truck will hit pit road right here, and we will get ready for 75 laps at Auto Club.
100 laps, let's hope not. We'd be here all night long. Pace Truck dives on the pit road. Shane Neiswanger in that 49 Zen Bandit truck looking for the green flag this time. He's got it, and we are away racing here in Auto Club. He's going to get a bump from the 12 of Zach Henry going down the straightaway. And then behind them, they're just going to be 2 by 2 all the way, hugging that inside line there instead of fanning out up towards the top.
Yeah, just because of how much these trucks really want that momentum. You can see
running in his starting position. However, the two positions in front and behind him have swapped now as Nathan Jump is looking for the lead on Shane Neiswanger. He's down to the inside while they jockey for position behind him, going Alpha into 1.
Yeah, that track position is going to mean a lot. That clean air is going to mean a ton, and Nathan Jump knows that. He's going to take the lead right away from Shane Neiswanger here, coming through turn 2 on lap 2, as you can see some guys fanning out towards the bottom at the back of the pack.
We've got a crossover move. Shane Neiswanger dives it back down to the bottom of the racetrack underneath Jump. He's going to clear the 25 truck. Shane Neiswanger back to the point, but here comes Jump again. We're just going to be playing crisscross with each other all night long, and it's going to be Nathan Jump leading lap number 3 here as he's got the 49 to his outside. Ashton Lawson is in tow. He's got the slipstream. Where will he go? Looking high, looking low. He can't figure it out. Tucks back in line there and stays hooked up to the back bumper of that 49 truck. Meanwhile, farther behind him, you saw on that first start, Matt Durr was shooting the gap there 3 wide. He is currently locked in a battle with Zach Henry for that 4th position as they fire off down the back straightaway.
And they're side by side for the lead again. Shane's still on the outside. Nathan Jump trying to make that bottom edge work. But right now, it looks like they're just kind of stuck in a side draft battle. You saw Ashton Lawson was able to get somewhere. He's going to be the decider here. If he wants to push Shane, he can push Shane right around Jump. That's where we are on the run now. It doesn't look like the bottom's going to be able to work by itself. You're going to need a little bit of assistance. Matt Durr to the outside of Ashton Lawson here. That's actually going to mess them up a bit, but it could help Shane in the long run as Durr barely got a nose out there, and Ashton wanted to close the hole going into turn 1.
Already trying to go to the top side is Matt Durr here early on. He wants that speed that top side provides here, and you're not going to see it quite early on as he gets right back up to the back bumper of the 26 truck. But as this run goes on, those guys who work their way up towards that top side, they're going to have a huge run down the back and on the front straightaway here when we get going and these tires start to wear out. But up front, the battle is still for that number 1 spot as the 49 and the 25 will not let it go. They flash back across the line this time, give the advantage to Nathan Jump.
Shane's going to actually pressure him down towards the bottom and make him enter really shallow here, trying to hold that outside advantage. Durr got a little bit of an angle to the outside of Lawson. He does it again. Lawson conserving some tire on entry here. Looks like he's lifting a little bit. Jump looks like he's getting a little bit tight on exit. Shane's going to prevail on the outside. May clear him, but Jump still with a bit of side draft down the backstretch. Going to stay next to him as they go toward turn 3. But that's just bringing Zach Henry and Spencer Owens right into this mix. Call it a 6-truck battle going through turns 3 and 4.
You can hardly... I'd say it's more than a battle, more like an all-out war as these guys have not been relentless as Nathan Jump finally clears the 49, but Shane's still coming back this time. This is a good point to bring up that if the audience can remember back in Indy, these guys got into a huge wreck on the last lap of that race, and I know for a fact that Shane Neiswanger hasn't forgot it. He's not holding anything back against that 25 truck. He's got a little bit of a personal vendetta, and he wants that lead here as he's got his teammate Matt Durr coming to give him a push down the back.
Big pushes all around. Zach Henry got to the back of Ashton Lawson. Lawson didn't really want that push down into the corner. Actually lifted a little bit early. He's been doing that. Again, trying to conserve that tire so that he can get through the corner a little bit harder later on. These two still door to door for the lead. Call it Shane this time by, but Matt Durr is going to be able to push him going down into turn 1. Maybe Durr looks like he's kind of laying back, so no one's really helping Shane clear jump, but Durr's making this top line work, and I think it's only a matter of time before guys start really going up there. And for Shane Neiswanger, there's nothing to lose in this situation. Whether he wrecks Nathan Jump, it doesn't matter because he's already so far back in points, he doesn't have an outside shot. This is his shot. It's to sit here and try to win as many races as possible. You see him on the door against Jump going down into turn 3. Durr is going to make this outside work, but Shane is currently just making it real hard for Jump to clear him on the bottom.
Matt Durr has the opportunity to be the kingmaker here as he sticks with his dark horse teammate on the outside. They're going to give him, there's the bump going down the back stretch, or the front stretch rather, off into turn 1. Shane's going to clear Nathan Jump with that bump, and he's going to set sail off into the sunset. And here comes Matt Durr with that run on the high side. He's not going to quite get to Nathan Jump. Jump slams the door off of 2, and that opens the door for the 26 of Ashton Lawson. He's now to the inside of Matt Durr as Jump fires it back underneath Shane for the lead once again.
Jump can appreciate Durr for that one, but he's not going to get another chance at it. Durr had to lift to let Jump in line, but that's patience from Matt Durr, knowing that they're going to go into the corner. Jump got tight behind Shane, who cut him off on the run in the middle 3 and 4. Durr to the outside of Jump, and now Jump needs to find a way up or he's going to be in trouble. You saw Ashton Lawson already made his way to the top. Now we're going to start seeing that freight train around the top because the momentum is going to be huge. Similar to how these guys, when they get next to each other at Pocono and they start going down those long straightaways, that shoving up top in that line will go right past, and you can see Jump now stick back to back behind Matt Durr right in front of Ashton Lawson. You're just going to want to stay in line and not get held out. And he immediately goes back to the bottom. But I just got to wonder if maybe this just isn't working on his tires. He's going to clear Durr for the time being. Let's see what Durr does down the front stretch.
Nathan Jump tucks back in line here, slams the door and throws a block on Matt Durr as he tried to look to the inside. Nathan Jump said nothing doing on that. He does not want to let go of this second position. In fact, he wants the first position. He goes back underneath Shane Neiswanger this time. Going to try and take the shortest way around the racetrack. Not quite going to clear the 49 this time. And we've got a caution on the racetrack as the 4 of Rod Fosnaugh, the 17 of league owner Sam Hoff is around. We've got a huge wreck there on the front straightaway. You can see Rod limping his truck back around this time. We're gonna have to go back and take a look at it, because we were absolutely glued to the action here up at the front.
I think it took Brockman, and we can see Preston Henry there also having issues. They're saying it looked like it was all saved, and then we had a little bit of extracurricular activity afterwards. We're going to get a replay going right here, but I think it started with the 17 and the 4 and then ended up with the 52 and the 2 also involved somehow or another.
As wide as this track is, you can't escape the eyes of Barney the Flagman at this place. You get sideways at this one, they will throw a caution here. It's very, very easy to get it hung out sideways and then have the caution get thrown on you here as we'll take you back and look at this instance as Sam Hoff looked to got to the outside there. They were 3 wide off of the corner, and then it looked like Mike McConville pinched the 4 up into Sam Hoff there. So I'm guessing that Mike didn't quite know that they were free wide until it was just too late.
And that's Sam's engine expiring right there, and Brockman had no idea. Wow. I don't think Brockman knew that Sam was that slow and just drove into the back of him. Everything was saved and done, and unfortunately, that's not just going to end Sam's day, but it's also going to end Brockman's day, and it's not going to help Rod Fosnaugh coming off. I believe that's one of his best qualifying efforts, if not his best qualifying effort of the season. Started up there in 12th, and that's not good for him.
Yep, you can see him just running right up on him, and it looks like I think Brockman had to know that Sam was slow. It was just a matter of he didn't know which direction Sam was going to go. It looked like he was coming back down the racetrack, then he faked back up, then he held his line, and Brockman did the same, unfortunately. So just a really unfortunate incident for all 3 of those cars there, being the 4 of Rod Fosnaugh, the 17 of Sam Hoff, and the 52 of Ross Brockman. That's going to be absolutely major damage to the 3 of those trucks here. I can't see any of those trucks continuing here as the race off pit road.
Yeah, we're gonna need a replay here on pit road. You can see big incident between Ashton Lawson, Zach Henry, others. I believe Zach and Ashton entered pit road side by side, and it turned Zach into the outside wall, and everyone just kind of collected in. We're gonna try to get you a replay on it, but you can see that's kind of the aftermath. If we go back forward a little bit. Ashton and Zach just, I think Ashton just tried to get an edge to him, and
That's exactly what happened. Ashton Lawson came down pit road to the outside of Zach Henry, and then I got caught watching the replay and wasn't watching pit road, the live action, and it looks like Ashton's just to the outside, and either Zach had to know he was there. It was just a matter of Ashton was probably trying to get away from those barriers, and Zach knew that he wasn't supposed to be there. I mean, per the GLTS rulebook, if I'm not mistaken, all the cars should be coming down pit road under caution, single file. So we're going to have to go back and look at that one in the post race. But yeah, that is an absolutely wild happening here, as Zach Henry was one of your favorites coming into the night. And it's just started a massive chain reaction back behind him. Jared Darling's involved. Sam Hoff was involved once again in this one. Yeah, and it looks like Ashton swerves to avoid those barriers, and Zach Henry was not given an inch. And unfortunately, there wasn't an inch to give, and then suddenly there was.
I don't think Zach's too bad off. If Ashton's not actually stuck in the wall and he was able to reverse and get out, he should be okay. But McConville and Heller are bona fide destroyed. Their days are pretty much done as far as a chance of winning tonight. They're just out there for points. But really unfortunate circumstance. It just kind of, to your point, looked like Ashton, I don't know if he thought Zach was entering a little slow or if Zach was leaving him room. I mean, Zach obviously qualified third ahead of Ashton. Ashton's been behind him the whole time, so you would know that Zach's pit stall is in front of him. There would be no reason for Zach to leave room for Ashton to get there if, like, Zach had a pit stall towards the end of pit road or something. I really don't know. It just seems like a lapse of judgment from Ashton Lawson's perspective, and unfortunately caused a pretty big pileup on pit road there.
Well, coming down pit road side by side under caution is usually not a good idea. You got a lot of guys here who are very territorial about their running position when it comes to pit stops here. And speaking of running position when it comes to pit stop, Nathan Jump was actually the winner of the race off pit road. He beat Shane Neiswanger off pit road, who had that preferred spot. He's going to be in the catbird seat as they get ready to go green here this time. The pace car's down. They're in the Geico restart zone, and Nathan Jump is away with a shot, just leaving everyone in his wake here. As the 49 is going to get a bump from the 23 of Spencer Owens. A little Pennsylvania neighbors helping each other out here, but Nathan Jump is away, and he's got 3, 4, opening up to 5 car lengths now on second place.
I don't like that for Jump. It's going to give Shane a big run down the backstretch, and even bigger run through 3 and 4. The other thing to note here, Caressel, Sensi, Robin Durr, other guys have now entered the fray. Jackson Sims is back there trying to pass Matt Durr for 4th. You can see the run that Shane Neiswanger got, though. He's to the outside of Jump, going to try to get there. And now this combat begins again as Spencer Owens gets it a little loose. That is something that we haven't talked about that will happen on fresh rubber. The pressures are so low that the truck will start to slide on corner exit if you're driving too hard through the middle of the corner. It'll want to slide out on you as these guys are battling for not just the lead, but back there for about 5th or 6th. They got real tight for the lead, though. Shane really wanted the bottom. Jump held him down on corner entry and will keep the lead on corner exit.
Jump's got it here, and he's pulling away with Shane Neiswanger. Shane lost a lot of momentum. Further back in the pack, they're 3 wide. Louis Woodall, James Shiflett, Aiden DuPont, a couple of guys that we haven't talked about pretty much all season. They're doing battle there. They were 3 wide down the back, and they've packed back up here with Zach Henry trying to re-enter the fray. He's got a lot of work to do, and the first order of business is getting by that 00 who is blocking him all the way to the grass.
I think they are they're former teammates too, but Zach's just sitting here like, man, just let me get by all this. I can see those guys up there. I just want to get to a nice top 5 position. But right now, that leader right there is the guy that he's facing in the points, who has an 18-point gap on him coming into tonight. So for Zach Henry, this is make or break. He needs to get around these guys, needs to get up there, and needs to stop Jump from gaining so many points over him. Every lap that Jump leads is another point potentially in his bucket if he can lead the most. And Zach hasn't led a single one tonight yet. So, Jump's already on a +2 over here against Zach Henry.
Zach Henry's got a lot of work to do, and in that kerfuffle, he picked the right lane to stick with Aiden DuPont, kind of push him all the way down the front stretch here. He's already dispatched the 28 of Shiflett and the 13 of Lewis Woodall, and he's still got his eyes set on the tailgate of that 00 truck, and falls back a little bit, but further up at the front, it's a battle for the lead once again. Shane Neiswanger is to the inside of Nathan Jump down the back. You can see the side draft there already halfway down the back. He fires it off into turn 1, is going to have the lead here in the middle of the corner. How will it affect his corner exit? His jump tries to come back to him here this time. Nope. Moves Shane Neiswanger to the point here, and he starts to lead, becomes the lead locomotive of this freight train down the front straightaway.
Well, I was going to say, I think Jump just let him go there, and he just said over the radio, let's just race, let's run single file, let's see if we can kind of get a little bit of breakaway. He knows, Jump knows where Zach Henry is, and they got really racy up there. Shane was all over Jump's quarter panel, and Jump knows just how finicky that can get. If Shane wants to sit there and pressure a situation, Jump could find himself in a really awkward spot, like he kind of is right there as Sims goes to the inside, and Jump's just trying to avoid anything. That 18 points can reverse very quickly if he ends up on a truck tonight. So Jump's got to be real careful, and I think he knows that. He's gonna calm himself down. He's led a few laps, but I think he's pretty much game to just follow Shane through with this one.
Well, we've talked about 1 and 2 in points being the 25 and the 12, but the number 6 truck of Jackson Sims has come to the party saying, don't forget about me, boys. I've got something to say here as he dives to the inside of the 25 truck here. And now it's a points battle on multiple fronts for Nathan Jump, as they're going to be side by side watching that 49 truck just start to drive away there.
Yeah, that side draft's not going to help him either, and as this heats up, unfortunately, we're going to have to go to break, but we will break right back in as soon as this action picks up right here on Split Second Broadcasting.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Boy, Elliott said that we would come back when the action picks up, and boy, howdy have we. We have had a mad scramble for that top position that has resulted in Shane Neiswanger getting shuffled out, and a squadron of fighter jet formation here down the back straightaway is being led by Nathan Jump and the 44 of Matt Durr as Spencer Owens slings it down to the inside now. A couple new names up here, Elliott.
Yeah, about old Milo Sensi making his way up here. I thought Matt Durr was pretty much content with the lead, but the 25 drove back around him, so put Nathan Jump back up to the front. Matt Durr definitely has that pace, though, and he's the only one that's really committed to the outside lane. We'll have to see how that works out later in the run, but you saw it on the half and half show with Jackson Sims just kind of getting up into the outside wall a little bit. Shane said it looked like he got tight when Shane got behind him. I think Sims just went into the corner so hard that they both just kind of got tight and ended up in the outside wall together. So, but yeah, you saw how intense that got. And now we've got Durr, we've got Spencer Owens, and we've got Michael Sensi all right here in the fray.
it looks like Shane Neiswanger might have a little bit of a damage there on that right front where he had that contact with Jackson Sims and Matt Durr there going down the front straightaway. He is noticeably slower than these guys at the tail end of the straightaways there, where the speed and the aero is absolutely most crucial here. So Shane Neiswanger going backwards early on in this one. You can see him side by side now with the 12 of Zach Henry, still trying to fight his way forward in this. As further up, Michael Senzi is to the inside of Spencer Owens here for the 4th position.
Yeah, I just wonder if Sensi's actually going to clear him. This 3 and 4 on the bottom gets really tight. Look at Sensi move way up. You can just see how tight that gets on him. And Spencer actually just staying with him. He's going to pretty much block him with top and take a push from Spencer as the top 3 try to skedaddle away here. But I think the bottom of 3 and 4 is just getting a little bit too tight. So you're going to see those guys maybe move up to the middle, move up to the top. Matt Durr, again, the only one really making this top side work in 1 and 2. Haven't really seen him run the wall in 3 and 4, but he's still running up top.
Yeah, that top side can prove absolutely crucial here later on in the run, where you rim ride and practically just get a slingshot down the back as you see him close right up to the back of Nathan Jump as they go down into 3 and 4, and they all take back to the bottom this time, and they'll drift back up onto the front straightaway here as farther back in the pack. That is the 2nd time now that Bring Kincott has slapped the outside wall coming off of 4, so that's definitely not going to help the aero on his truck, and it's going to allow the 45 of Nick Caressel to close back up on him. Caressel having a good night tonight. We haven't mentioned his name pretty much since the chase started. Has just not had a couple races go his way, but this tonight looks to be, could be a good points night for him to try and get back into this fray.
Yeah, Caressel and Neiswanger came in here 8th and 9th in points respectively. Eric Kepf is the one back in 10th currently after his wreck last week, but they both came in looking for a way to just kind of gain some points and put themselves in a better spot. They all still have a shot. Pretty much 4th on back is wide open if anything happens to anyone. It's a 25-point gap. That's a lot, but, you know, if Spencer or Jared or anyone gets wrecked, Ashton got wrecked tonight. He's the one in 6th. We're not sure about his damage. You'd have to go check, but if any of these guys get into some trouble, that's still a wide open position. 25 points is attainable as these guys are battling hard for 2nd now. They're all on top of each other, but you know, Nicholas Caressel making some good out of a lot of people's misfortunes tonight, and could find himself at the top 5 spot here pretty soon. Trying
to capitalize here in the early going at Auto Club Speedway here. But like you said, those guys up at the front, they're dog fighting for that 2nd place position. As Michael Senzi is going to go to the inside of Jackson Sims there. Sims really drifted up high, and that's going to allow Senzi to get right to the inside. They're going to be door to door as they flash across the line, and side by side as they go back down into 1 this time. So Senzi's looking to dive bomb in here while Jackson Sims rips the high side there. They're still not clear with Spencer Owens looking on from behind him. As now the battle's really starting to heat up as the 10 of Robin Durr has taken to the 45 of Nicholas Caressel. They're back behind this kerfuffle, I'll say, up at the front here. We've really started to separate into little groups here, Elliot, and this kind of segues into a question I wanted to ask you. How much of are we going to see the breakaways here that we've seen at like a Talladega with how big the draft is at this place?
You can see they're going to lap Mike McConville. That might pose problems later on, but I think the biggest point of contention is 3 and 4 here. We see a lot of guys go down into 3, and some guys drive really hard into the corner, and other guys I've noticed, Sensi and Spencer Owens, to name a couple, are going in there and actually lifting really early and just kind of letting it set and then getting a big run off, which is something that, you know, Sims and Durr are struggling with. They can't really get the run off, and that's why Sensi was able to get next to him. Unfortunately for guys like Sensi and Spencer, you could see just how much the draft affects these guys. When Jackson is able to line up behind Durr, he can then get a pull that'll pull him right back past Sensi. So it's almost like you can make a mistake and get pulled back together. So I think it's just going to come down to tire wear and how hard these guys run. As they run side by side, they're going to split up a little bit, but you can see that now they're all single file. They're all kind of starting to come back together. So I don't think you're going to get massive breakaways, but there could be a point as we get later in the run that a few guys could break off from the main group.
Get kind of an accordion effect going there as they slinky back together there, running single file. Matt Durr, you've seen him been working that high side in 3 and 4. Jump goes up to cover the spot, but Durr's still going to go higher this time. Watch the run that Matt Durr gets off of 3 here. Now with Nathan Jump running not on the bottom here, nope, Matt's going to get right back to his back bumper, but not going to make the move this time. So Matt and Matt and Jump here having a little bit of a handshake agreement. You got to think going down the front straightaway here. I'll push you, you push me when the time comes, but we'll have to see how Nathan Jump plays later on in this race, as when it comes down to it, we've seen Nathan Jump be as cutthroat as any of them out there.
Robin Durr, Brent Kingcott starting to pull back towards Spencer Owens and Michael Sensi, and they kind of sense it. They're starting to put a little bit of pressure on Sims, who's starting to put pressure on Durr, and that's going to lead all the way up to this front group. And you can see Durr, I'm not sure if he's going to try to get to the outside of the 25 Nathan Jump, or if he's comfortable to just sit there and ride, but he definitely goes to the outside, drives it in a little hard, but then right here he just kind of sits, and he just gives him a little bit of a push. They are separating from Sims and Sensi, though. Sensi, I thought, was having enough of a run on Sims to get really to him, but unfortunately not really able to do anything with it. Shane Nicemonger coming off of pit road. Not sure. I'm assuming that's a scheduled stop. I believe that's the same deal that McConville and others did. Sims catches the outside wall right there. You can see just how hard Sims is pushing, but it looks like these trucks starting to tighten up, and we're starting to get towards the end of this run, if that is a scheduled stop from Shane. We're only about 17 laps into this run, so we'll have to see.
I think that might have been damage control from Shane. He was starting to drop off the back part of that, what was a 10-car breakaway there, which is now down to 9 with Shane dipping out. But it looked like, I mean, he was slowly but surely dropping off the back. Like I said, with that suspected damage earlier on, as now you can see the difference in tires there as he throws it on down into turn 1 and is going to easily clear Aiden DuPont by 10 car lengths, very easily. So, Elliot, is newer tires for the 49 going to pose a threat to that lead group here?
Nope, they're all hitting pit road. Jump, Sensi, Sims all calling it out. They are coming. Sorry, Sims not. Oh, Sims is going to pit. He ran a little wide, but looks like they're all going to hit pit road. So I wouldn't say that was damage control. I'd say that was calculated by Shane Nicemonger trying to potentially get himself back into this thing. Tires probably have a shelf life, and he doesn't feel like that's a big deal, and he's going to try to short pit here and use the draft a little bit more, especially with his damage, to just try to maintain and stay with this top group. I assume what he's trying to do is basically leapfrog a few guys and put himself back in about 5th or 4th and just try to stay in there with draft. That's probably his best bet, because with draft he's okay. It's just whenever he gets set to the bottom and out of that group, he starts to wander a little bit because of the aero damage.
The draft being a huge factor here, as we've got 3 more guys on pit road this time. Matt Durr, Spencer Owens, and Jared Darling was in a 4-wheel drift coming onto pit road there. We're going to have to go back and look and see if he got it woed down or not, because you folks saw it at home. We were reading the door numbers of that number 1 Casey's Ford F-150 there coming onto pit road, but it appears to be that he got it woed up, and no black flag being served by the 1 truck here as he gets his service done. So meanwhile, back out in front, like you said, Elliot, Shane Nicemonger has now leapfrogged just about everybody as he is in front of the 25 once again.
I'll tell you what, Nathan Jump is so good at executing pit road. He is so far ahead of Sims right now. That draft may come into play, but if it doesn't, Nathan Jump has put himself in a great spot. He needs to clear Shane, though, or it's going to be an issue. But the other thing that Shane did really well here is this puts him right on the window. He's very, very close, if not pretty much right perfect to being able to make it to the end here on 1 more stop. I think that's what he's basically doing, is lining himself up to make it on 1 more stop as well as everybody else. So Jump clears him, and the race is now on. But yeah, Shane's strategy has worked to put himself ahead of a bunch of guys and potentially salvage something out of this.
You can see the scuff marks there on the right front of Shane Nicemonger's truck, so there is damage there as the 25 got by and is now starting to set sail on him. I was briefly questioning whether or not it would be better for Jump to try and push Nicemonger around the track and try and utilize the draft there and try and get away from everybody, but I believe with the damage that Shane's got, Nathan Jump made the right call to just get by him and start to set sail on a closing Jackson Sims, who has help from the 37 of Michael Sensi back behind him. So now we're going to see the lone car out front versus the 2 cars in the draft to see if they can tandem back up to the 25 of Jump.
Yeah, we're going to have to see, because Sensi has also been pretty good at conserving, whereas Sims, I feel like, was driving pretty hard. So Sensi might honestly battle with Sims when it gets down to it. We'll have to see how committed he is to trying to push Sims and trying to manage that gap up to jump. They've also got to be really aware of what Matt Durr, Zach Henry, and Spencer Owens are doing back here. Those guys were all pretty much their same pace, and Zach has done a really good job of putting himself back in a spot to maybe get a top 5 out of this and not lose too much of a points already gap to Nathan Jump coming into tonight. But it's basically 2 trucks as Sensi actually clears Sims there right off of 4. Not really sure if Sims just got through the corner slow. I was looking at the battle between Henry and Durr, but that's good on Sensi to be able to get through that corner. But they've also got to pay attention to this little 3-car trio back here and see what they're doing and see how quickly all these guys can basically catch up a jump.
What had happened, and I know the folks at home are watching, Elliot, while you were distracted, was the last time out of 2, Jackson Sims had thrown it down into the bottom of the racetrack to try and get by the 49 of Shane Neiswanger. He did clear him, but at the cost of a lot of exit speed rather. And Michael Sensi saw that, lifted early, and then was able to get back on the gas in a big way. And that brought him right to the back bumper, sent him down to the inside in 3 and 4. And he was just able to make that pass as he will move to the 2nd position, and the 2 of them will try and get reconnected and try and tandem back up to the 25 of Nathan Jump there. Meanwhile, like you said, Shane Neiswanger continues to fall like a rock with now the trio of Matt Durr, Zach Henry, and Spencer Owens, the next ones who are looking to capitalize on Shane's unfortunate night.
Yeah, Sensi's been really good about managing his stuff, and like I said, Sims has always been a little bit more aggressive tonight, and it kind of showed there for sure. But now Sims can sit here and watch Sensi, and honestly, I think that's going to benefit Jackson as this race goes on, because if they can get to jump and Sims realizes, oh, there's a little bit of tire saving I can do here, he might be able to utilize that against jump later on. And if he can get a big enough run and have Sensi with him, those 2 trucks can work their way around the 25 and potentially remove jump from the lead. They're already catching him, so obviously just having 2 trucks in tandem is going to be a lot quicker. And I believe they're actually driving away from Durr, Henry, and Owens. They've got about a 2-second gap over them, and it doesn't really look like it's coming down too much.
Well, the gap that's coming down is the gap from Sensi to Jump here. Last time by, it was back in the 7s and 8s. Here we're at the 6s, and that's the first time that we've seen the ticker move in the up direction there, coming out of 3, but it continues its slow march downwards, slow countdown here as Sensi and Sim start to run down the 25 of Nathan Jump. And like you said, they're putting a huge gap on that group of now 4, as Durr and company have now caught the 49 of Shane Neiswanger, and they're going to easily dispatch of him as they all go to the inside of 1 and 2. And Shane Neiswanger is going to let them go on by, and they will continue their march toward the front. But like you said, it's a lot of splintering going on. We've now what's going to basically equate to groups of 3 running around this racetrack here.
Yeah, unfortunately for Shane, he's kind of he's exuberated the problem, because he unfortunately didn't have pace because of the aero damage, and now he doesn't have pace because of the tires, so he's impacting that in 2 different ways. And I don't even think he can really hang on to Spencer here, so he's probably going to end up in about the same spot he was, and he's just going to keep hoping that short penny is going to give him enough tire that he can try to salvage a top 10. But man, to go from a potentially winning truck to where he is now is going to be really frustrating, because one guy made a different move on you, and you know, it's hard to lift out of that spot. And I understand Shane's situation, but man, I'm sure he's going to wish he had that minute back, because he would have easily just lifted and gone to the bottom instead of sending it all the way up into the wall.
Absolutely, you got to feel gutted for Shane. This is definitely one of his better racetracks, like we were talking about in the post race. So Shane Neiswanger continues to slide back through here. He's dropped down to 7th now, with Brent Kingcott slowly starting to make his way back up into his mirror. But meanwhile, back at the front, the pair of Michael Sensi and Jackson Sims have now definitely caught the 25 of Nathan Jump here. So Elliot, what's the play now that they've caught the leader? Do they try and pass him and try and run away from him? Can they try and run away from him with the speed that we've seen that Nathan Jump has all night long?
Well, they're definitely not going to get away from him. Here's the benefit that Jump has. He's had the clean air, and he can save tire out there. Sensi and Sims have had to catch him, so they burn tire to get there. The benefit these 3 have is that same thing is happening with Durr, Henry, and Owens behind them. They are burning more tire just to get to them. So if these 3 can sit here and set sail with Jump's pace and basically follow, they'll be in a really good spot, because we know Jump's been fast pretty much all night. Sims has a lot of aggression. His truck seems to kind of fall off a little bit towards the end. Sensi seems to be the one that has pretty decent long run speed, but Jump is by far quicker than most guys on this track. So if they can just sit here in a line and focus, they may be able to hold that 2-second gap, if not make it bigger as they're doing right now, and potentially put themselves in pretty much all podium spots and let them all work it out on that last run.
Now that the field's kind of cycled out, you get a less opportunities for a caution here with everybody cycling back out, unless these guys get racy here, as we see Jackson Sims dives down to the inside of Michael Sensi. He is going to make it racy here, as they're going to be 2x2 coming off of turn 2, and Nathan Jump's looking into his mirror and got to be just cackling to himself, as these guys have now, like you said, Elliot, driven their tires off the vehicles trying to get up to him, and now they're going to start fighting. Nathan Jump might have a chance to get away once again here.
Well, I don't know if I'd be cackling. I mean, either way, they're going to be able to get to him, I'd imagine, just based off draft. But, yeah, right now, I don't know if I'd be frustrated or I'd be okay with it. He seems to be holding the gap over Matt Durr, so as long as that gap is still there and he can hold that 2-second lead that he has over 4th place, I think he's fine. But you got to imagine Sensi's a little frustrated, but there's always going to be one that wants to go forward. And in Sims' defense, he has had really good short-run speed, and he wants to be able to get around Sensi, potentially challenge Jump here. But I thought maybe that tire-saving strategy that Sensi's been doing would come into play for Sims, but I think he really just wants to go.
Sims really trying to get forward this time, but he can't seem to get by the 37 of Michael Sensi there. We're going to go to break here, and then we will catch you back up on all the action when we come back, where Nathan Jump leads out in Auto Club.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container, because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
Welcome back to the Auto Club Speedway, where the story continues to be Nathan Jump out front with his two drafting buddies, Jackson Sims and Michael Sensi. But that second group there is starting to catch him. But Elliot, is it going to be too little too late as we get down to the last set of pit stops here?
It's interesting. You definitely cannot count out Zach Henry, and I think it just took them a while to really figure out what they needed to do back there. But as soon as they can start sniffing some draft, they're about a second back now. They can feel it they might start to get there. I think the issue was Sensi was either oversaving or wasn't able to get through the corner as well as Sims. Sims recognized that, got to his outside. Sensi conceded the position, and now you can see the gap has kind of refreshed itself, and it's stuck at about 1.3 seconds. But for a little while there, yeah, they went from about 2 seconds to 1.5, and it was while Sims and Sensi were trying to figure out who needed to be that second truck in line, and Sims eventually sorted it out. But I don't know. It'll be, say, 2 or 3 laps. We'll have to wait and see. Shane's probably going to be the first one to hit pit road, and as soon as he does, everything's going to break out about a lap after that. But you can see Spencer
close that gap in between these guys. In fact, they're almost starting to leave Spencer Owens here as a little bit of a gap has opened up between the three of them. So tires really starting to fall off here late in this run, and you're starting to see who saved and who didn't here as we wind down here. Going to be hitting 21 to go next time by as they come back around.
Tell you what, you can never count out old Zach Henry, and I believe Shane Nicelonger has hit pit road, so we will be seeing pit stops here in about 2 laps, I'd imagine.
Yep, Shane Nicelonger, the first one to dive on a pit road. He will lead them down, and shortly behind him there is the 93 of Evan Snyder. Evan, another rookie, making his debut in the Great Lakes Truck Series. Awesome to have him here tonight as he gets on a pit road.
They're all pitting here.
Everybody else back behind him. You see the mad scramble to get on a pit road. Spencer Owens, rather, gets it woed up there after a little bit of a hairy moment, but they're all now, we saw the gap on the racetrack, but now they're all nose to tail as they come on the pit road. This will be an interesting race off.
Zach Henry drove around Matt Durr to make that work and is now 4th in line. If he can somehow get out ahead of Sensi, or even just where he is, he's going to be in prime position to still be in a fight for this win.
Very impressive entry from Zach Henry here as we await service here and see who's going to come out on with the lead, rather. Meanwhile, back out on the racetrack, it's Nick Caressel has resumed the race lead. He hits pit road this time as the one of Jared Darling will now be the last one to hit pit road here as the main group starts to come out, and they've got to deal with the lap car. The 93 of Evan Snyder is now coming out. He must have had a penalty or extra damage or something, and Nathan Jump's going to be the first one to capitalize and get a little bit of a gap in between him and the 6 of Jackson Sims, but I can't imagine it's going to be doing much because Jackson Sims is hooked up once again with the 37 of Michael Zinzi, and they're going to push right back to his bumper here with Zach Henry in tow.
Yeah, for a second, I thought Sims was actually going to... Oh, he gets loose in front of Sensi. He's going to get turned!
Caution is out on the racetrack. Jackson Sims did a whale of a job to keep that truck out of the wall, out of any wall, outside or inside here. That is an absolutely race-saving move by him to just lock it down there, get it righted and going again. The caution will waive, so this is going to just absolutely screw up the scoring here, Elliot.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to be looking at. We're going to need to let this cycle its way out. iRacing is going to have to figure it out because Jared was still on track. They're letting the 37 and 12 go by Pace Truck. I don't believe anybody's going to be a lap down that shouldn't be. Jackson Sims might actually be the worst off out of this. He may be caught behind the Pace Truck and be stuck a lap. Nope, he got passed through as well. So I think we'll be okay. It's now just the fact that these guys, Jump, Sensi, Henry Durr, they're going to have worse tires than Jared Darling and these others that are going to pit right here. Cressel came out just off pit road there. He's fine, but Jared is going to be in the best spot. Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to end up lining up about 10th or so. But he'll have 3 or 4 lap pressure tires and about 20 laps to do it, unless these guys all have an extra set and they just take it now just in case.
Jared Darling going to be the lone taker on pit road here. I say that the 49 of Shane Nicelonger comes back down. He's got nothing to lose. As you see the replay there, Sensi just had too much of a run, and Jackson Sims couldn't handle the push coming off of the corner. And that's just 2 guys going really hard for it. Nobody's particularly at fault there. You got to go, in my opinion, you got to push as hard as you can to try and catch that 25 back up before he gets out and gets a big lead. So huge happenings here. Like you said, Jared Darling's going to be in the one in the catbird seat, and I can't wait to see how he handles this because Jared is very good at this racetrack.
Well, I will say I don't think that was really a push by Sensi. You could see Jackson actually lost a little bit of grip and started to get loose. And I mean, Sensi in that position, yeah, you can lift, but you're just going to get run over from behind. So I mean, he apologized to Sims. I think Sims is okay with it, but Sensi just really nowhere to go. Was already committed to pushing him off the corner and was a little bit too close, and may have actually gotten him a little arrow loose with how these trucks are on corner exits. So very unfortunate. But I'll tell you what, look right behind Sensi. And I think Jump should be quivering a little bit because he's had virtually no competition tonight. I mean, Sims has been his closest companion, but Zach Henry has not been up here until just now, and this is going to get racy. Zach knows he needs to gain every spot he can over Jump, and he's going to need to try to do that tonight because he's running out of races to do it at this point.
Yeah, this late caution definitely going to reshuffle the field here, and it's going to bring some new names that we haven't gotten to. Well, that we may or may not have talked about tonight, but they're going to get to see action up at the front here that the guys at the front haven't seen how they race, and the guys coming up here haven't seen how the guys at the front race. So it's going to be very interesting to see the dynamic of the comers and goers here, with Zach Henry making his way back up into that top five spot here, as I believe we've hit the one to go this time. So all your lap cars getting freed to go catch the back of the field here, and they're going to line up with Nathan Jump as your leader, Michael Sensi to his outside, Zach Henry in the third position, and then Matt Durr in the fourth spot. Jackson Sims, being the victim of that incident, slid back to the sixth position there, so still absolutely in the running here, but gonna have to cut through a couple more drivers than he would have liked to in this one here. You can see there on your screen you've got about 12 guys who who've really separated themselves and been the front contenders all night long. I say that looking back in there, Ashton Lawson has resurfaced back there. He is in the 12th position, if I'm not mistaken, there outside of Jared Darling on those fresher tires. So Ashton still got a dog in this fight, as well as Shane Neiswanger back there. Those are going to be some hungry boys coming to the front.
Unfortunately, they are both lap down, 18th and 19th, not in this fight. We're trying to get caught up on people a lap down. The two oddities that got promoted here are Aiden DuPont and Alex Fetter. They're 8th and 10th on the lead lap from 25th and 22nd. As we get ready to go green, they've got a shot at this one. Sims gets to reline up 6th. We've got Jump and Sensi on the front row with Zach and Durr behind him.
Remember how crazy they were racing at the beginning of this race? Well, it's about to get even crazier here as the green flag is out. The 2511 camp gets the jump on the 37 there. They're both going to clear Michael Sensi and try and make it a two-car fight, but nothing doing because Spencer Owens was right with them on that jump. He's going to clear the 37. Michael Sensi, the victim of the victim of some team games here, as the 25 and 12 are out front. And meanwhile, behind him, it's a mad scramble with the 45 and the 44 side by side here as Sensi tries to come back on Spencer Owens going down into turn 3.
Yeah, you can't really be mad. I mean, Zach did a really good job of timing that with Jump. I'm not sure if there was any actual audio vocalization. Caressel's going to get loose. Sensi got a little bit loose. That bottom lane in 4 is not any fun. Evan Snyder's going to have to hit pit road with a penalty. He's 2 laps down in 21st, unfortunately. Just a killer to his night. But right now, the battle is on between the 25 and the 12. Shane Neiswanger blocking Ashton Lawson. That's for the lucky dog spot, and he needs that spot to get some points back.
You've got 2 different races here. One up at the front, one at 10, 11 cars back here with the lucky dog between 2 guys that I would not want to be in a fight with, that being the 49 and the 26, trying to go for that lucky dog spot right with Alex Fetter right in the middle of them there as Ashton Lawson dives to the inside. Meanwhile, back at the front, Spencer Owens has got a run on the 12 of Zach Henry. He's trying to look to the inside here, but shades of earlier on with Nathan Jump, he is now trapped on that bottom lane, and as the tires wear, he's going to get freight trained on the outside as they go to his outside here, lined up nose to tail here, and he's still going to be side by side with Zach Henry going down into turn 2.
Tell you what, Matt Durr still committed to that outside lane, being very patient. Michael Sensi could have thrown it to the inside like Spencer and Sensi did earlier. Just staying where he is and just biding his time. He knows there's still 15 laps left in this. There's going to be tire wear. Meanwhile, Aiden DuPont fighting really hard with Jackson Sims. This is the highest up Aiden's been all night, looking for a top 10 finish, but wants a little bit more. He can see that top 5 right in front of him, and he's fighting hard on that bottom to try to get there.
Aiden DuPont started 25th, so an absolute last to first challenge coming out of the 00 camp tonight, and he's making it look like he's got a dog in this fight here as he's to the inside of Jackson Sims as they dive back off into one. And Robin Durr there on the outside right behind him in the 8th spot, still with some fight here as he's going to draw back alongside his dark horse teammate in the 00 of Aiden, who got a not so good run off of the corner. Robin's going to clear Aiden DuPont, move the 10 up to the 7th position as he is following the footsteps of his son and trying to rim ride this racetrack around the outside here as they come back onto the front stretch.
Well, he did that into 3, caught the wall pretty hard, somehow didn't lose a ton of momentum, and he's still side by side with Aiden DuPont. Since he lost the 3rd spot to Matt Durr, now it's Spencer Owens and Michael Sensi back in 4th and 5th with Jackson Sims right behind them. Zach Henry is now working the top lane with Nathan Jump in front of him, but Matt Durr is the guy to watch here. He has been consistently working this outside lane as Sensi actually gets a nose on him in the middle of 1 and 2. You just got to wonder if that's going to work for him later on. Wow, Zach Henry shot Nathan Jump into the corner, and Jump kind of caught the wall a little bit. No harm, no foul, as now Zach's trying to work his way back to him, but gives Sensi a little bit of an arrow, or drops arrow on Matt Durr and gives Sensi a little bit of a boost there from it.
Nathan Jump saw firsthand what that outside lane did to Zach Henry, and you got to start to think that he's wondering in his head, when's the time to go to the top? He still elects to pick the bottom of the racetrack this time. Zach Henry to the middle, Matt Durr to the outside of this track. We got all lanes accounted for in this one as Michael Sensi still trying to take the fight to the 44, but he's not going to get him cleared and going to fall back into the clutches of the 23 of Spencer Owens here, and another big shot from the 12 to the 25. Those guys have got it hooked up, and here comes Matt Durr to the outside. Been working the outside all night long, and here he comes. He's got the position alongside of Zach Henry. Is he going to have the run to be able to contend him down the front?
I was going to say, since he tried to fill a hole there between the 44 and 23, nothing doing, but look at the run from Matt Durr. That outside lane's working. How long will it work for, and will Nathan Jump give up and go up there? Matt Durr in a similar spot to last week, just looking like he can potentially win this late, and he's got it. Oh, they're right behind him.
Off the nose of Jared Darling off of 2, and he's not going to keep it off of the inside wall this time. Heavy contact for the 6 as he is left sitting there on the back straightaway with a blown engine there. That is absolutely killer. His night is done, unfortunately, for a top contender here in Jackson Sims, and that's going to be an absolute gut punch to his championship efforts.
And behind them, Alex Feder and Chris Heller made some contact. Feder went for a wild little ride, but no damage to his truck. It did the same thing, though, just behind them. I think Feder was trying to get around Shane Nicewonger, but misjudged the situation a bit. We're going to restack once again. I think, honestly, that hurts Matt Durr, though. He seems to work well when there's a few laps on the truck and he's able to jump up there, but we're going to get an absolute dogfight between the 12 and 25 now, that's for sure.
It's going to be roughly 6 or 7 laps to go as they when they take the green flag this time. Elliot, does anyone elect to come down pit road and try and get fresh rubber here with that few laps to go?
I mean, I don't know how many tire sets they had. If I have the chance, if I'm 5th or 6th with how many guys are on the lead lap, yeah, maybe. There's only 15 on the lead lap here. You could potentially drive back around everybody on the top lane if you want to. This is definitely the one track where, you can make that work. I think, honestly, it looks like everybody's going to do it, in which case I would not be the straggler that stays out. And with how loose these trucks are at the start of the run, I would not want to be the guy coming in to take 2 tires, as they're all going to come down here and get their last set, I presume, or potentially second to last set for this final little restart. But how about Robin Durr up there in about 6th spot? Like, that's what I've been looking at, and that's who I'm impressed with, and I'd like to see what he can do here on this restart.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see how he handles the mad scramble. So far, I don't think he's dropped out of the top 12 per se all night long here as everybody comes down, gets their service here. 4 fresh tires going on. You got to imagine for just about everybody here. We're going to see if anybody has the cojones rather to go and try and take 2 tires. It looks like Matt Durr is going to be the one and Michael Sensi going to be the ones to elect to take 2, as everyone else behind him is going to take 4. Nathan Jump's going to come out in 3rd place. Elliot, how big of a wrench does that throw into everything?
I don't know if it's going to affect Jump too much, but that's something. I mean, both of these guys on the front row now, you got to imagine they only ran about maybe 10 laps there, so I I don't think it's too bad. I just really question Durr's strategy here. He hasn't really been super strong on the short runs, and 2 tires isn't really going to make it any better. But, you know, I mean, these guys have been sitting 3rd and 4th to Zach Henry and Nathan Jump these last couple runs. They figured they got to do something a little bit different. That's what they're doing. And let's be honest, it nearly worked for Durr, what was it, last week, where he ended up right at the end at Dover there and ended up 2nd or 3rd. But yeah, you might as well give it another shot. Durr, especially, nothing to lose. Sensi, another guy, he's not in the chase either. He's the guy 11th in points, just trying to be the first guy out and hopefully come into next season with a shot at a championship. But both these guys just looking for a win at this point. Neither of them have one, and that'd be a really good way to finish the night off for them.
Yeah, both of those guys going trophy hunting here, so I can't really fault them for it. The way it's working out in my mind is those guys now have the track position over Nathan Jump and Zach Henry. We talked about how everybody's packed up a little bit, but still having the advantage going off into these turns can make all the difference when trying to hold somebody off and playing, instead of the offensive game of trying to pass someone, playing the defensive side of it and trying to hold them off. I have to imagine that Matt Durr is gonna immediately jump to that high side and try and rim ride around here and hold momentum as much as he can on those 2 newer right side tires. On that one, I have to hope that wouldn't hurt. Having older right sides wouldn't hurt the performance of that truck on the high side here, and I believe that's what he's banking on, Elliot.
Well, Matt's going to have to play this restart zone really carefully here. If he goes too soon, he's just a sitting duck. If he goes too late, he could potentially get himself turned with the 25 or 12 trying to jump. And Sensi is honestly the one on the odd man out strategy, because he's going to have to get a jump and not spin tires, and he has not been good from restarts in that 2nd position tonight. So I think Sensi's kind of the big question mark, but Matt Durr just needs to go, be smooth, get into turn 1, run the bottom, and then go to turn 3 and do what he does best and just rip that top.
We've got a great group of drivers here, mixed strategy playing. We have got 7 to go. It's going to be 6 at the line. Matt Durr is looking for the green flag, going to get a shot right at perfect timing from the 25, and both of them are going to shoot away from the 37, getting caught sleeping once again on the restart here. And is Nathan Jump going to get clear of the 37? He is. Matt Durr still holds that bottom and tries to protect from the surging 25. Meanwhile, Spencer Owens has gotten around the 12 of Zach Henry, who is trapped behind the 37, gets a little loose off the corner, and here comes Nathan Jump for the lead underneath of Matt Durr.
Yeah, this is where I just don't agree with those 2 tires. It's going to be a lot looser than what these guys thought it was, and I just think you can see Durr go down in the corner. He's having to work it a bit. Sensi's having to work it a bit. Zach Henry right there, everyone's getting a little bit loose right now. Late in the run. How about Jared Darling? But Nathan Jump throws a block on Durr. Durr's still coming back. He's got a little bit of pace. Still in that truck going into turn 1.
I told you that outside lane was going to have the speed going down the straightaways here as Jump dives it off into the bottom of the racetrack. Spencer Owens going to try and follow him. Slides up right into the door of Matt Durr, as Durr's going to be the one who gets left out on that freight train there. That's happening on the inside now as Michael Sensi has rejoined the freight. And here comes Zach Henry, going to make it 3 wide as they go down into turn 3. What a rebound from Zach Henry to come off 3rd as he's going to clear the 37. Meanwhile, Matt Durr still holds that top lane with Jared Darling in tow.
Sensi trying to push Zach Henry up towards Spencer Owens. We're coming closer and closer to the end of this race. Owens now has a shot at this. Jared Darling stuck behind Matt Durr. You got to wonder if he can get clear of the 37-44, if he's got a chance. How about Aiden DuPont entering on the bottom lane up towards the top 5? Jared Darling out towards the outside wall, but it's Zach Henry to the inside of Spencer Owens down the backstretch, trying to get up here and challenge Nathan Jump for the win.
1 by 2 by 1 by 3 by 3. It is a dogfight here up for the top spot. Every position is up for grabs as they round turn 4. This time going to be coming to 3 to go as teammate Zach Henry looks to the inside of Nathan Jump. Nothing doing. Jump covers the spot. Meanwhile, up top, here comes the 23 of Spencer Owens with Matt Durr in tow. Those guys hooked up on the outside, going to try and rim ride around the racetrack here. Look for the momentum and the slingshot down the back from the 23 and the 44.
2 tires not working for the 37, 2 tires not working for the 44. Here comes the 1, but how about the 45 gets turned down the backstretch? No yellow yet. We're going to have to wait and see, but Caressel's going to hit the inside wall hard as Jump still holding on against Zach Henry with Spencer Owens to the outside.
The 3 wide. Brent Kingcott gets turned. He saves it. Farther back on, it's still a dogfight more than it is up at the front there with Robin Durr, and I believe that was the 5 of Brent Kingcott, the 26 of Ashton Lawson. Contact made. The 5 gets sent. He gets sent to the sideways, not able to hold momentum. The 10 and the 26 soldier on. So two key contending trucks here being taken out in this one late, as we have got 2 to go this time. Back at the front, it's still the 25 and the 12 versus the 23 as they fire off into 3.
Spencer Owens has not given up, and he is getting massive runs. I just don't think he really has the confidence to get off the corner to these guys, as Aiden DuPont and Matt Durr are still racing really hard back there. But Spencer's going to give Zach a push. White flag this time by. Can Zach do anything with the 25? Durr's going to get blocked all the way to the wall from Jared Darling as they go down to the turn 1 more time. Zach Henry to the outside.
It's a mad scramble now. Nobody is friends, even the 25 and the 12 here, as they have all fanned out this time. Zach Henry and Spencer Owens to the top side. Nathan Jump covers the spot off of 2, but here comes the 12. He's going to get to the back bumper of the 25. What does he do? He looks to the inside. Nathan Jump throws the block teammates. As Spencer Owens looks on, he's going to get to the inside of Zach Henry here, but coming off of the corner, nobody's going to catch the 25 here, as Nathan Jump, 2 weeks in a row, is going to lead him to the line. Give the win to Nathan Jump out here in Auto Club.
6th win on the season. Nathan Jump now ties Hunter Madalinas and Elliot Henderson with the most wins in a single season. 6, now 14 races down.
And how appropriate is it that Nathan Jump, running an EHG design scheme, will tie the record held by you yourself, Elliot Henderson, and fellow EHG driver, or E95 driver, Hunter Madalinas.
Tell you what, that was, I think that was the only block that Jump really needed to throw. I thought Zach was going to sell him and go back to the top, but I think he was just kind of committed to the bottom, and he knew if he could get to the bottom, he could just drive it in there and door him if he needed to make it work. And I don't think he had the confidence that the top was going to be able to get the job done. And trying to wrap the top here, you give the guy on the bottom way too many chances to just come up and put you in the wall if he wants to. So really clean racing by Zach and by Jump there. Teammates, of course. And yeah, we'll have to see what Zach thinks of that, and if he maybe would have done something different now that it's already happened.
This week we're actually going to get to talk to Zach Henry. Last week he narrowly missed out on a podium and interview spot, so we're going to get to hear Zach Henry's thoughts on everything that went down as Nathan Jump burning it down. Absolutely geometrical burnout here at the Auto Club Speedway here on the front straightaway. But like I said, we're going to get our top 3 in here for interviews very shortly to get everybody's take on all the action that has just gone down and has just proven why this track is one of the favorites here in the Great Lakes Truck Series.
I think we've got Spencer Owens already prepped up and ready to go here.
Coming home in the 3rd position is the 23 of Spencer Owens. A awesome run for him tonight. Spencer, it's Brittle and the boys up in the booth. Got a copy.
What going on?
Well, man, a 3rd place position here in Auto Club. You're sitting pretty in points. Did you think you had anything for that 25 and the 12 who had proven strong all night long?
Well, we definitely tried. That's all I can really say. We really put forward a really good effort here at Auto Club. So, yeah, I don't know. It was really hard to just race around those two. They were working just really good together. So, I don't really think I could have beat them. They were working really good.
Yeah, when 2 teammates like especially of those 2 drivers' caliber get hooked up and on the same strategy, it's really hard to do anything about it. When that final caution through, what was Wave? What was going through your head here? Did you have an inkling of trying to go with some off strategy? We saw how that worked for Matt Durr and Michael Sinzi. What was going through your head there as the yellow flag flew for the final time?
We were definitely taking 4. I didn't know. I honestly don't even think 2 would work here. So I wasn't even going to think about that. I just wanted to finish really well, so I didn't want to just risk it and taking 2 and then finishing like last. So yeah, we finished pretty good here. So I'll take 3rd, best finish in GLR. So we'll take it and go on the Richmond next week.
Yeah, I can't blame you there. And that leads right into my next question here. We're going to go from this big old track out here in the West to a really tiny track on the East Coast there in Richmond. How are we feeling about that one?
We're definitely going to show up and see where we're at. I definitely don't like Richmond, so we're going to definitely unload and probably not like it, but we're going to definitely give it our best. It's definitely going to be a fun race. A lot of tempers from this race is going to definitely spill over and just make short track tempers, so it should be definitely a fun one.
Definitely going to be a good one for us to watch all night long right here on Split Second Broadcasting. Before we let you go here from your awesome 3rd place finish tonight, do you have anybody to thank for your awesome run?
I got to thank you guys for the broadcast. Got to thank everybody watching at home. I got to thank the Spectrum guys for putting together a really good team. All the guys at the Sheets Ford 23 truck, we've had a really good night. So we're going to try to keep going on the next week.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us, Spencer. We'll be watching you next week there at Richmond. And congratulations once again on your 3rd place finish.
Thank you, guys.
That was Spencer Owens, your 3rd place finisher. And now we will get the 2nd place finisher in here, Zach Henry.
Zach, Elliot and the boys in the booth, you got us?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if anyone had a more interesting night than you tonight. Walk us through, first of all, you were the center of it. What happened on pit road there between you and Ashton Lawson?
Well, I mean, we're under caution. We're supposed to go down single file, right? And you just drove to my outside. And I know at some point you just kind of get sick of people taking advantage of you doing stuff like that. So, I mean, I gave him enough space out there, I think, even after watching the replay. But I mean, I don't know. I was just kind of forcing him as wide as I could because he ain't supposed to be out there anyways. I feel bad for everybody that got involved in it, but I mean, he should have lifted.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting circumstance. I don't think any of us really predicted. I just heard Caressa yelling, wreck, 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 and I figured everyone was safe, but it was a pit road issue. So interesting, to say the least, but we'll definitely go back and check that out. Is there anything else you think you could have done with jump there at the end? I saw you kind of go to the inside, thought you were going to fake to the top, but then you kind of committed, and then he threw a massive block. Like, walk us through kind of that last lap or two, or is there anything Spencer did that kind of threw you off? What happened there? Do you think you could have gotten him with another chance at it?
Well, so I was kind of hesitant to do anything too aggressive just because Spencer was right on my bumper and he was pushing me down the straightaways and stuff. So I didn't want to risk giving up the team win trying to be overly aggressive. But with 2 to go, going down the backstretch, I had a really good run and then Jump just threw a really good block. And that was really kind of the last time I made a real effort to pass him, to get beside him and try something. But that's ultimately what it was. You know, I'd take the 1-2 team finish rather than, I don't know, potentially wrecked. I think I about wrecked him with 2 to go, making that real aggressive move anyways. So.
Yeah, it's always difficult when you're running your teammate, and now you're looking at a 25-point gap. What are we thinking moving into Richmond and beyond of potentially combating this and coming back and choking it back down? Is there a way back? Are you hoping Jump gets tangled up in something, or are you just going to go out there and try to win the last 3 races and let it lie?
I'm just going to go out there and try to win the last 3 races. I think Dover slipped away last week, otherwise it'd be a much different story. I think I'd probably be sitting somewhere between 5 and 10 points back. But no, I mean, yeah, I'll just go out there, try to win, see what happens. Jump's been super consistent all season. So, I mean, as long as nothing crazy happens to him, I think he's locked up the championship already. As long as he keeps doing what he's been doing.
Zach, always a pleasure talking to you, hearing your perspective on things. Congrats on another top 3 finish here. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
I always got to shout out my wife. And then I know my mom, dad, and my youngest sister always watch these things too. The 2511 guys, congratulations to Jump again. Super fast as always. It's fun working with them there at the end of these races. Chris had an eventful night because of me. But always fun race with him. And then Preston, want to shout him out. He had a really good run last week at Dover. I think he finished like 15th, 16th or something, and he followed that up with another 17th place finish tonight. And probably should have finished a little bit higher, but when he was trying to uncheck auto fuel, he unchecked begin fueling, so he didn't take fuel on the second to last stop and had to pit again on the green. But it's fun racing with those guys. You and Brito are doing a great job in the booth. Love watching the replays of these races, and then all the GLR admins. It's been a really good season, a lot of really clean racing, and it's been fun.
Appreciate that from your side, Zach, and looking forward to how this all shapes up over the next 3 races. See if you can shave that points lead down a little bit and give us a bit of a battle here. But have a good night, and we'll speak to you soon.
You too. Thank you.
That is Zach Henry, and I believe last but not least, we've got your race winner tonight.
Well, I'm not even going to bother asking if he can hear us because we've already done it so many cotton picking times this season that I know he can hear me. Nathan Jump, how are we feeling after a record tying 6th win out here in the desert, tying fellow broadcaster Elliot Henderson and Hunter Madalinas with 6 wins on the season? That is the most ever between 3 drivers in the Great Lakes Truck Series. How are we feeling?
It feels good. I think I might be able to get number 7 next week.
I can't blame you with that amount of confidence here. We go to Richmond next week. You feeling that good about that one here? It's a little bit different of an animal.
Yeah, I feel good there. I like short tracks, and my man Daniel Nanny, he kind of showed me how to get around there a little bit. And we'll see if it plays out like how I remember plays out. If it's gonna be nice to me, we'll see.
Definitely a good one to learn from, that Daniel Nanny. But I want to talk about the race here in Auto Club tonight. Take us through what was going through your mind in that last caution there. What was going through your head there? Were you thinking about how many people were going to take 2? Were you yourself considering taking 2?
Nah, 2 never crossed my mind. I thought more would stay out, but Zach told me he was going to pit behind me, and I knew that would kind of drag the field. So we went down there, and Duran Sensi took 2, and yeah, I thought it might work for them, but I don't know where they finished, but it was probably all right for them.
Yeah, it worked out for him, I'd say. Matt Durf with a 5th place finish, Michael Sensi with an 8th. But definitely, I know for sure they were going for the win there, trying to play spoiler in this one. But you had an awesome run all night long. Once again here, back-to-back wins. You got to feel like this championship's all but locked up here. We've got 3 races left and a 25-point gap. How are we feeling going into it?
I'm not going to count Zach out, not yet. It's a 25-point gap for the 25 truck. That feels nice. But I know Zach's elite. He could probably race in the Pro Series or something way up there. You know, he's real good. He kind of kicked our ass the last 3 weeks. Nashville, he whooped me. Dover, he was whipping on me. Indy, he kind of had the strategy. So I'm not going to count him out yet.
We were preaching just that all night long. You can never count out that 12 truck of Zach Henry there. But all night long, it was you, man. It was awesome to see you run up front and get another dub on this one. Before we let you go, do you have anybody to thank for your awesome run tonight?
Shout out Danny Nanny, RJ. My man Elliot Henderson here. He painted me this truck. I won Michigan in it. I put his logos on it this time for him. His website's doing some stuff around there. So if you're interested in schemes or logos, go check that out. Hey, maybe he'll sponsor me for next season or something like that. Maybe give me some cash inflow or something like that. But that's all I got, bro.
Well, I feel like with a plug like that, I can guarantee you he's pretty excited about that one. But thanks for talking to us, Jump, again, and congratulations on your win. It's awesome to see you up here all the time. We love talking to you, man, and good luck going forward.
Yeah, man. If it's not me or Zach, who else is gonna be? I mean, we got 9 out of 14 wins, so I'm feeling good. It's a 25-11 championship regardless, so we'll see what happens.
Can't blame you there, bud. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, see ya.
And with that, we've concluded our interviews. Elliot Henderson, final thoughts from a absolute whale of a race here in Auto Club.
I don't think he stopped Jump at this point. I think he's got it pretty much on lock, as Zach said. I know they both kind of think highly of each other. You could hear it where Zach said Jump's got it locked, and Jump said I wouldn't count Zach out, but I think as long as, to Zach's point, Jump just keeps doing what he's been doing, which is running literally top 5 everywhere we go, you're going to win this championship. I think for Zach, it comes down to his issue at Indy and then his issue last week at Dover. So there's a couple points that Zach's definitely run into, and it's a rarity for him, but it's pretty much what shaped this championship to where it is. But there's always that odd chance. We're going to Richmond. Jump could end up on the bad end of something, and you've got Zach Henry and Spencer Owens finishing right there. Jared Darling was 4th tonight. I mean, these guys are no slouches, and you're going to have to work hard to get this done.
Definitely 3 races to go. Jump's got a lead, but it ain't over until the checkered flag waves in Atlanta, and we will definitely keep you posted with all the action here on Split Second Broadcasting. As you can see, the chase standings right there in front of you. Nathan Jump with that commanding 25-point gap over Zach Henry, and an even further gap back to 3rd and 4th there. Spencer Owens and Jared Darling battling it out for the final podium spot in the championships, a 34 and 35-point gap respectively. And you got to think that those are pretty much the guys who have all got a shot at it. Everyone else is just too far back, Elliot, with a 3-way tie there for 8th, 9th, and 10th in points.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that battle from 7th back to 10th, with it only be a 1-point difference between all 4 of them, that is a battle going on. And I mean, don't count Ashton Lawson out of that. If he has a little bit more bad luck, he could be in the middle of it too. So a lot of fun going on in the back half of that group. But yeah, Jump has this on lock, and unless something happens, I just think with his confidence and how he's driving recently, I don't know that Zach can really do anything. I thought tonight was the opportunity for Zach to get in his head and shift things around. But to his point, he said, Dover was frustrating how that ended up, and tonight he just couldn't find the opportunity to pass Jump, and he didn't really get the opportunity until a few laps ago because of the incident on pit road and everything at the beginning of the race with him and Ashton. So unfortunately, he's gonna have to go into these next 3 races on the back foot and try to find a way in. And I mean, points wise, you're looking at a solid 8 points a race to make this work, which isn't a lot to ask for. That's him winning, leading the most laps and everything, and Jump finishing about 3rd or 4th every week. But I mean, when's the last time we haven't spoken to Jump? So for him to finish outside the top 3 is going to take a little bit.
I'm starting to hear his voice in my head at night. We've talked to him so much over the past few seasons there. We will take you through the results one more time here before we get on out of here. Nathan Jump comes home a winner for the 6th time this season in the Great Lakes Truck Series. Like we said, tying Elliot Henderson and Hunter Madalinas for the record of most wins in a single season. So congrats to him on that achievement once again. Zach Henry, teammate to the 25, brings it home in 2nd place, a 1-2 finish for the 25-11 boys. Spencer Owens, another solid top 3 finish. He was up there right at the end all night long, making some noise, trying to desperately claw back that lead that Jump's built up in the points. With Jared Darling right there with him there, that's your top 4 in points, and they've finished top 4 on the racetrack, so you can definitely see why they're up there. Matt Durr brings it home 5th, another great night for him. We saw the off strategy try and play out. Unfortunately, nothing doing here. 2 right sides not proving to be the move here. Aiden DuPont, fellow Dark Horse driver to Matt Durr, brings it home 6th. A awesome night for Aiden. Started all the way back in the 25th position. He had a whale of a climb all night long. Awesome to see him get this top 5 or top 10 rather. And Gavin Fitzgerald, whose name we literally did not mention once tonight, brings it home in 7th, surviving all the carnage that ensued on those last couple laps. Brings it home in 7th. Awesome night for Gavin to bring it home like that. Michael Senzi, another 2-tire taker, brings it home 8th. Ashton Lawson, the up and down night that he had, brings it home 9th. And Eric Kepf, we love an Eric Kepf top 10. He brings it home in that 10th position there for Mr. Pink.
And as soon as it cycles through, we've got Robin Durr in 11th. A really interesting night for him. Obviously started up in 5th, but kind of cycled his way around and ended up 11th. Not too bad. How about Alex Feder in 12th after starting 22nd? Really good finish for him. He was also turned around on the backstretch at one point, if you remember that. James Shiflett comes home 13th. Really solid evening for him. Brent Kingcott in 14th. Blair Nebo, the rookie, ends up 15th. Wins that rookie fight tonight. Chris Heller, with his up and down night, ended up with some damage in that incident, ends up 16th. Preston Henry in 17th. Zach gave him a bit of a shout out, just continuing his kind of consistent runs, not getting in too much trouble, although had a mishap on pit road tonight to put him back to 17th. Potentially could have run a little bit better, but good run for him tonight. Shane Nicewanger, probably one of the more disappointing drivers to point out tonight. Obviously had a truck that could have potentially won, finished top 5, something up there, ends up 18th after an early scramble with Jackson Sims that put him on the outside wall, put him on the back foot, and gave him honestly a lot more damage than what I thought would have been done to the 49 truck. Ends up 18th tonight after starting from the pole and leading the first few laps. Nick Caressel ends up 20th. Just a really up-down night for him too, but ended up getting turned right at the end, and I don't believe finished the race. Evan Snyder as well back there Nicholas Caressel 19th, Evan Snyder 20th, finishing second to Blair Kneebone in that rookie run, and just not the night he wanted, but ends up 20th.
Jackson Sims, we saw him up front dogging it with the 2511 boys. Gets taken out on the backstretch. An unfortunate happening for him. He brings it home in the 21st position. Mike McConville, fellow chase driver, another rough night for him. He was caught up in that in the scramble that happened on pit road there. Unfortunately, unable to continue or make any rebound. He'll bring it home 22nd. Rod Fosna, same story. Brings it home 23rd. Lewis Woodall, second verse, same as the first. Ross Brockman as well, 25th, and Sam Hoff will round it out in the 26th position here. We mentioned our rookies here. If you would like to join the Great Lakes Truck Series on track here, we are actively recruiting, looking for new drivers to come and join us for our illustrious 10th season next in a couple months here. So if you're interested in joining, follow that Discord link below, and our admins will get you sorted away and get your number picked, and we will see you out on track here in the Great Lakes Truck Series. Like I said, Season 10 coming up here in a few months. That'll just about wrap it up here for all of us at the Great Lakes Truck Series and Split Second Broadcasting. I have been Hunter Brittle alongside Elliot Henderson with Jeff Johnson behind us in the production room. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel in Richmond. Thank you. Good night.